ready. You still have half an hour, buddy. Half an hour before you get to eat, okay? Not yet. Not yet. A little bit later. Would you like to say hi to your internet friends? Apparently you have some new girlfriends. Yeah, you have some lady cats who love you. They're like fascinated by you every time you're on screen. Do you want to say anything to them? Would you like to go on any dates? Would you like to go on any dates with lady friends? Show us your beans, Freddy. Show us your beans. You're an internet whore. My little furry prostitute.
Are you interested in working out with me later, or did you have enough workouts for the day?
Maybe, depending on how I feel after I cook.
Okay. Can I get rid of these tags?
No, because those came from the shirt that Mom got me. So I'm holding on to them for a little bit.
Yes. Keep the tags. 100% lyocell.
Mhm. She used to buy lyocell stuff for me all the time because she knew how much I love the fabric. Are you putting all of Fred's hair into Grandma's frying oil?
No, you have a lid on it.
That doesn't mean they won't get into the pot.
How's it gonna get through the lid?
Magic. His hair went into my ice cubes. Okay. The menu is in the description. Let's give him a treat.
Do you want the real treats?
No, I'll just give him Stella and Chewy.
May I have a mooncake?
Yes, you may have
Which
it.
one is the lotus?
You better get a knife and cut it open. Ah!
Is this the lotus?
No, they're all mixed. All
Okay.
of them are mixed. Just get a knife and cut it open. That way I don't have to eat your bitten stuff if it's not what you want. And try to pick a slightly ugly one so I can save the better ones for camera.
Nice. How did she do?
Did you show them the pattern?
Do you want to bite?
I already ate.
You want to bite? I think he does.
It's got egg in it.
Mhm.
Of course he does. Is that all you want? You want one more?
No. No one can eat more than one mooncake a day.
I ate 5 yesterday. I also finished my peanut butter. Shocking. It is very hot today, which is why the live is titled what it's titled. I'm not feeling particularly energetic today, but I also have to make some youtiao dough for Grandma because I have made dumplings for her and all these other things, but she insists that she only wants youtiao. Oh my god.
She has good taste.
Fred fur all over my chest. Can you grab me a trash bag? Maybe from your medley of Amazon
Yes.
shipping bags?
Can I finish what I'm doing first?
Sure, yeah. Thank you for composting. So So what I did was, and you'll see this later, I saved a little bit of the last dough that I made so that it could impart a little more flavor onto the fresh dough we're about to make. I will just grab the bag now.
Okay. I think it's about time, don't you?
Or,
To try another boxed water flavor?
no, I don't. I'm not ready. My body is not ready for that.
Let's go with the safest one, lemon. It's just lemon water. How can we go wrong?
Guys. Spill more of it, please.
Yes. That's the best thing we can do with it. This is lemon water. Water, a little bit of lemon.
It smells like the Joy dish detergent that Mom had. It doesn't even smell like they put real lemon in here. It just smells like lemon essence.
They really went to a lot of effort to make these all taste and smell chemically.
That's not too bad. It's really not as awful as yesterday's.
Oh yeah, it's better than the blackberry. But it still it doesn't.
It
tastes like if you squirted some dish soap in water.
It leaves that kind of like sweet plastic feeling on your tongue after you swallow.
It's dish soap.
I don't like it.
The blackberry one tasted
All right.
nasty chemicals. This just tastes like dish soap.
It tastes like what these candies taste like, but with the candies, I'm expecting the candies to taste like that. I don't expect my water to taste like that. That's the problem.
Would you like me to chug the rest of the lemon? Get rid of it?
Only if you want to chug it.
I should drink water anyways.
Chug,
As well.
chug, 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 chug,
What if I did a drop of almond essence?
Sure. And Long, I don't have the energy to make that for her. And as I've said before, if I give her rice, I don't know how long she's going to keep it on hand, and it could get really spoiled and rotten, and especially in the summer months, and I don't want to give my grandmother food poisoning by accident. I need to be able to control the variables of food spoilage that lands in my grandmother's containers. The more stuff in the container, the more the variables that I can't control.
Let's see if we can write boxed waters.
But a great idea, thank you. You know what dish soap tastes like because one, you smell it, and most of taste is smell.
Yeah, come
Second
on.
of all, you've never been so lazy and in a rush that like you didn't rinse your thing well enough, and then you accidentally just drink water out of it, and you're like, this water tastes funny, and you're like smelling it, and you're like, oh, I totally should have rinsed that more than once.
It's such a middle school thing to be like, this tastes like ass. How do you know what ass tastes like? Have you eaten ass? Man,
Maybe.
you can imagine. And also, yeah, maybe you have eaten ass, so what?
But you certainly smelled your own shit.
Oh, okay. That's better.
I don't want it.
It's definitely
I'm
better.
good. Well, you know, Aaron has middle school humor, and he's still stuck in the early noughts. So.
I was just saying, middle school humor is dumb. It's like a middle school level.
No, that's actually not what you were saying.
It's like a middle school level joke. It doesn't like the whole like.
You're
Oh, how do you know what such and such tastes like?
I don't have energy right now. How are you enjoying your lemon almond water?
Yeah, the almond made it better.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Buddy, I hear you breathing behind me.
Whose youtiao recipe are you following?
My own.
Oh, kanji with youtiao. Parentheses, Chinese donuts. It says delish. By June Zai.
Very good. Very good.
How'd you get past the paywall?
I have an account.
I gotta renew my daily subscription. I forgot to.
You're funny.
Why? Ramissa asks, why is June look so angry? Have you met June?
I'm also
Do you know her?
Tired. I'm just tired. I'm also angry because I don't have energy to deal with Aaron's middle school humor talking all over me on my live that he knew that I was gonna put on. Bye, Aaron. I can't be happy all the time, y'all. And if you don't like it, you know where to go. I told you we were gonna melt in hell. That's in my description. Not my fault if you don't read the description of the video that you're watching before you watch it, you know? I can't be responsible for all the grown-ass adults out there. They gotta be responsible for themselves, you know? It's time. Because I like chaos, we are gonna add in a little bit of instant yeast. I don't know if I'm doing it. Just a 1/4 teaspoon. I think the last batch that I made felt a little dense and flat. Ironically, Grandma might have liked the dense and flat, but who knows. I did? I said yeast? All I have to do is kind of like choke myself a little bit with my tongue. Like I have to push my tongue into the back of my molars and close the air from my throat. For anyone else who needs help saying yeast. How do you pronounce jardinera in New York? I guess jardinera? I'm probably saying it horrendously wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm also probably not very representative of New York accents, so, you know. Immigrant at the age of 7 with Chinese-speaking parents, couldn't pronounce yeast until the age of 32. It's a very special background. Yes, flour keeps better in your freezer. If you don't go through your bag of flour within the month, keep it in the freezer. And I recommend transferring it to an airtight container rather than keeping it in your paper bag, because paper bag is obviously permeable to whatever else is in your freezer. If you don't want to take it out of the bag, you can also put that bag inside a plastic bag and then seal that plastic bag. Aaron grew up in upstate, so is he a native New Yorker? I don't know. Depends on which part of New Yorker you count as a New Yorker. Fred was definitely a rescue. Whether or not he's feral, I'm not super sure. He did have his ear clipped, so at one point he was on the streets and he got taken in and he got trapped, neuter, released. But I'm not sure exactly what percentage of his life he spent on the streets, because he is very darling and he knows exactly how to pull the strings to manipulate you, to give him treats and to make you love him so you can keep scooping his poop. He really entertained himself watching me clean all his hair off of the floor. Aaron swept, I mopped, and Fred was just like following me with his gaze, sitting on his little bookshelf, observing me. He's now gone because he got his treat, but we're also feeding him in 15 minutes, so don't let me forget that. We will need to feed the boy. I am making youtiao dough for Grandma for this upcoming week. This is probably a little too sloshy, huh? Yeah, we might have to add a little more flour. But before we do, here is the chunk of dough that I saved from the last batch. We feed him at 4 p.m. We have the AC, it's in the bedroom where Aaron and Fred are. They're enjoying that life. That's definitely way too much flour. We'll just have to add more water. We should probably add a little more baking powder too now. Man, I really fucked that up. I really fucked that up. Just eyeball everything. What's the point of measuring anyway? we don't want the dough to be like sloshy. I am straying from the recipe because I find that the recipe makes a decent youtiao, but I like mine's actually a little bit holier, lighter, airier on the inside. So I'm gonna let this sit, and we'll add in more flour on the next fold if I think it's too loose. Very amenable. Anyway, won't be the end of my life. These days, I'm cooking lots in order to deal with the recent breakup. How do you guys cope with it in your experience? I think everybody copes with breakups in different ways, and I also just think it depends totally on like how long you were in the relationship for and how invested you were in the other person and the circumstances of that breakup. Obviously, some relationships are healthy and some are unhealthy. Some breakups are healthy and some are unhealthy. So it's just like, you just gotta do what works for you. I mean, I find it like, you just need to like let yourself mourn, first of all. You can't push away that sadness. But I also just like doing stuff that I enjoy. So if you like cooking, great, cook. If you like boring stuff like me and you like watching movies or listen to music, then do that. Some people like watching happy things. Some people like watching sad things. There is no rule. And I also think like going on dating apps can be fun to just look at other people. It's kind of like going to a museum of human beings. I don't expect to find a soulmate on dating apps, but I also find that it's fascinating as almost like a casual anthropology session of who's on, what are they doing here, and what are they saying about themselves, and how do they want to be perceived. That's all fascinating to me. So, here's what we got going for Grandma, just this dough. I'm gonna let it hang and chillax on the stove here. The sriracha we'll have to find a use for later. Everything's falling apart. Aaron, can I eat more of your hydrated almonds? Yeah. Thanks. I also need a little Disaronno, so if you could save that whole mini bottle for me, is that okay? Thanks. Alright, what I am aiming to achieve today is cooking with that peanut milk that just came out of the fridge because I don't want it in the fridge anymore. So we're gonna make some Bailey's oatmeal, and I might eat a lot of it tonight. Hopefully I'll have some left over for tomorrow. That way I can have some ready to go food the rest of this week when I'm hungry, so that I can stop eating those dang addictive guava snacks that I was eating yesterday. Is Aaron my soulmate? I don't know. I think we get along in a lot of different ways. I also don't know what a soulmate is. Do you? Do you have a definition of what a soulmate is? you know on dating apps? Yes. I mean, I've run into Aaron before on dating apps. That was fun. We would match with each other and then pretend we didn't know each other. It was truly a highlight. But I've definitely seen people that I know on dating apps. For sure. So when I make oatmeal, I like to use a mix of instant and old-fashioned for texture. The instant gives me creaminess, the old-fashioned gives me chewy texture, and I just find that the two of them work together so fucking well. A little bit of salt goes in at the beginning, never to be seen again because I don't like my oatmeal salty. You never toast your oats before you cook with them? Always a little bit. I always dry toast my oats like just until some of them start to turn brown. They burn very quickly, especially the quick cooking ones. And then I go in with my liquid. Obviously, you can also start it with some butter if you'd like. Any sort of fat will toast them and make them extra delicious. But the peanut milk already has a lot of raw peanuts in it, so there's already going to be a lot of fat in this oatmeal. So I think we're going to be good on that front. And I like to just immerse the oats with enough liquid to cover by at least an inch and add more as it needs. I usually go a little bit harder on the toast, but sometimes when I like talk on a live and cook something at the same time, I end up burning shit. So I didn't feel like eating burnt oats, which I have done on various occasions, too many times. Hi, Diana. Happy first cake. Deja blue to your daughter. Dominic asks, okay, real talk, what are you spending a week on groceries? I can't help but spend $150 a week trying to do better. Because I work in food for a living and I develop recipes, my grocery bill probably is about $100 to $150 a week because I have to develop recipes. I can tell you that when I was working in restaurants and wasn't developing recipes for a living, my grocery bill was probably around $40 to $50 a week. A little bit of fruits, a little bit of vegetables, some yogurt, whatever's on sale, and then snacks. Probably peanut butter. And Aaron would buy probably around the same. And just as a clarity statement or a disclaimer, if you want to call it that, we are not frying the youtiao today. I'm just making the dough. The most cooking that will happen today is me cooking oatmeal and talking. That's all I have energy for. Aaron and I had a very productive day. We did our laundry. We cleaned the apartment. we tortured Fred a little bit. Oh, Freddie, guess what time it is? Love Kills? Okay, I'll try to remember to watch that. Freddie. Welcome to the internet. Dun, 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 dun. It's a different Bo Burnham song in my head every single week. It's gonna be a lot of chicken soup. Fred, you excited? This is just canned cat food with some homemade chicken stock. He loves it with the homemade chicken stock. And so I'm just trying to make a little bit of broth to really hype him up for his monotonous canned food that we buy in a 24-pack, 12-ounce cans from Chewy. I know it must be very hard to eat the same shit day in and day out, so it's like a cat MSG, you know? Welcome to the Ooh, that was very scary. Why are you hissing at me? What the fuck was that, Fred? Did I step on something? Did I step on him? Freddie, that was a really bad hiss. What did I even do to you? I don't even know if I should feed you right now. You're so mean to me. Yeah? What? What? Uh-huh. You're demanding. I'm trying to warm it up for you so it's not too cold and not too hot. That's what I'm doing. Wow. What is happening? Mutiny. Mutiny. Are you apologizing? Are you apologizing? Did I step on your paw? I'm sorry. If I stepped on you, Fred, I'm sorry. You deserve to hiss at me, okay? I love you, and I don't mean to step on you, but it would be really nice if you didn't trail my feet every step of the way while I'm holding a plate with liquid. For you, sir. For you. Okay? My goodness. My goodness. When we turn on the AC, he actually doesn't like it. Like for a large chunk of today, he was outside on the bookshelf, which is outside of the AC place, just hanging out. So I don't know if the kitchen is too hot for him. I think he just wanted to hiss at me. I don't know what's happening. I've been giving him about 1.8 ounces of food and 1 ounce of chicken broth for a grand total of 2.8 ounces-ish on his plate. Hoping to up his liquid a little bit as it gets hotter. I feel like they probably need a little more hydration too, and he's not a very good boy about drinking his water, so if I could get it in at meal times, he seems to be doing okay. That cat grass behind him is definitely dead. I should probably plant him a little bit more, but I'm a tired girl. I'm a tired girl. Yes, I do brush him every day. When I'm like not shooting, I brush him twice a day. He does get a lot of fur off on that comb. I don't know what we were doing before we got that comb because I guess all of that fur was just being licked off, but Fred never passes hairballs either, so I don't know where it goes. Maybe he poops it out. Do you like it, Freddie? Is it good? The comb is basically a slicker brush. It's not very exciting. My McDonald's barbecue sauce, or sorry, buffalo sauce exploded, so now I have to clean up my fridge. Ay, ay, ay. Looks like it's been exploded a while because it hardened. My countertop scares me too. I have definitely knocked everything over on my worst days, especially when I'm tired and I have to shoot stuff, and it just makes me even more lazy to not have to clean everything all the time. Did you have a good meal, Freddie? Good boy. Can you not hiss at me anymore? Okay. Well, I'm gonna go in with the Baileys now. Oh yeah. Mama needs it this week. What you doing? Do you want more chicken soup? Here, I'll give you a little more chicken soup. Enjoy! Fred cannot have Bailey's, but he can have chicken soup. I do have a question for people who are watching live. Do you guys get ads in the middle of the live streams when you're watching while live? I've always been curious about that experience. I've heard from people that they get pre-roll ads when they're watching lives. Do you get post-roll ads when you're watching lives? I'm just fascinated. No ads. Okay, cool. I would be like, that would be really awful if the live stream were just chopped up with ads while it's happening. Yes, ad blocker. Good. Yes, I think the ads do come in when you rewatch. When it's not live anymore, they do put in ads. I make like all of $19. So if you do have an ad blocker, you can go ahead and turn those off. But you know, the $19 adds up. We can get some greenies for Fred. Did you like your second serving of chicken soup, Fred? Now he's thinking about the box. Were you gonna go into the prime box? Hi Suzuku, it's been a while. Yeah, did you have a good meal? Would you like to hop on here? What was that, Fred? I don't know if you guys heard that, but it sounded like he was kind of choking. Oh, you will? You will come onto the chair? Will you or won't you? We also found out that like Nestle or whatever the crap owns Greenies. I don't know if it's Nestle, but it's one of those big companies. Pepsi, Nestle, Kellogg, Unilever, who the fuck gives a shit? Unfortunately, Fred loves Greenies, so then we opted for the Chewy in-house brand. So let me show you what we're buying now for him. This is a Chewy in-house brand called Tiny Tiger, and he seems to go pretty crazy for these two. I would say like maybe 10 to 15% less crack crazy when we throw these out, but he still goes for them pretty hardcore. So that's good news if you don't want to support Greenies. I forget who owns Greenies though. I'm not gonna eat this hot. I'm gonna let it cool down. It's gonna go in the fridge, and then I'm gonna eat it cold. But maybe I will eat it hot now that you've made it sound impossible to do. Actually, Chinese people love eating hot stuff on hot days. They believe that like it reduces the heat in your body somehow. I don't know how it works. Don't ask me. I'm not Chinese enough to tell you. I think it might be Friskies and Purina that owns them, but I think Friskies and Purina are owned by others. Goodbye, butthole. Alright, that's it. No more cooking. So, once the oatmeal is this thick and it looks nice and creamy and cooked, you know that when it cools, it's gonna gelatinize and turn into a very soft, rubbery puck. So what I like to do is, now that it's off the heat, I like to dilute it until it's soupy. And this means that when it's cool, it actually stays in this kind of stewy texture, which is the way I like to eat it. Yes, Mars, that's it. Mars is the parent company of Greenies. Yes, meow to you too, Fred. And I'm gonna keep these jars unwashed because the oatmeal will go back in here for storage if I don't end up eating all of it, which I probably will. Well, media girl, like father, like son, right? So this is the texture that I like to dilute it to. It's basically like almost drinkable and it looks like vomit. I know it looks disgusting, but oatmeal is good. Some foods just look disgusting. It's okay. I mean, it's not okay for some people. Some people hate mushy foods, but for me, it's fine. And what I'm gonna do now, because I need to get more jars out of the fridge, and it's been way too long, I have this lavender simple syrup that I'm gonna dump in here, and that's gonna be a Bailey's lavender sweet oatmeal. Let me look up when that simple syrup is from. I developed it for Delish. I feel like it's gotta have been a year at least. So the photo was like updated in August of last year. So it's been almost a year at least. And it makes me very sad to think about things that were made in a past time, because I always like measure it in terms of like, oh, mom was still here at that time. What a relic. Yes, steel cut oats can be rancid. They are very fatty, and if they're not stored well, the oils will turn. I thought Weetabix is a cereal, like a cold cereal that you don't have to cook. We're just gonna wash out this jar and get all the good sugar and lavender out. I think in order for you to like grits, you have to put a lot of butter and cheese in there. As with many things, butter and cheese will solve it all. Is lavender simple syrup the sweet equivalent of chili oil in the making process? I don't know what you mean by that, but basically, to make any simple syrup, you just have to infuse your flavor with sugar and water. Simple syrup is 1 part sugar to 1 part water, heated until all the sugar is dissolved and the solution is clear, and you let it cool, and that's simple syrup. If you want to add flavor to it, depending on the ingredient, you either add it while the water is heating up with the sugar, or you add it after it comes off the heat so that it can infuse. For things like mint, you don't want to cook it too long. Lavender, it can go either way. Vanilla, probably better if you add in the beginning. Cinnamon powder versus cinnamon stick can be treated differently. I've also done orange zest. It's very easy. It's much simpler than chili oil, I think. Okay. Welcome to the internet. Come closer, my children. Look at the mush and feast upon it with your own eyes. Thought Fred was gonna pop through, but he did not. I heard his little landing on the floor. Sometimes when I knock a jar like this, he'll think it's me feeding him again. Do you use the whole orange for the syrup peels and all? No. I just use the peel. I just zest it. So what I do is, actually, if you search simple syrup, delish, my recipe will pop up, and I think I included a citrus version. But I think what I did was I heated the simple syrup up, and when I take it off the heat, I stir in the zest and I let it sit until the syrup is cool. I don't actually like cooking citrus zest. I find that cooking citrus zests makes the thing that you're baking or stewing or whatever bitter. So I like to just infuse in the zest at the very last possible moment to escape the bitterness of the cooked zest. I don't know how somebody could slather on Marmite like jam. That thing is like 1,000% your daily sodium intake in a teaspoon. So maybe she just did it for the clicks and to blow up. You know us YouTubers will do anything to blow up. some of this doesn't fit in the jar. I guess I'll have to eat it. Yes, I will let this cool down before I put it into the fridge. Of course. This will approximately last me until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Have I ever worked with venison? That's hilarious. I've never worked with it, but I interned on a farm in junior year of college, and they had venison because one of their neighbors shot a deer, and they had a lot of meat, and it was like ground up and put into stuffed peppers, and I was like, this is delicious. I love it. I haven't had venison since. My cousin actually just offered me some venison yesterday, and I forgot to take it when I left. So maybe one day I'll work with venison. But I do like the gamier meats. I especially like them when they're not very fatty, and venison can be very lean. So I like meat that are a little bit, in Chinese it's called chai. It just means they're very lean. So lean that it is reminiscent of like, why is my tamarind exploding? This tamarind is exploding. You good, homie? You good? I can't tell if you're good, actually. You're definitely expired, and you are exploding, so that might not be a good sign. Well, I'll have to make something with tamarind and dye, potentially. I think my fridge is okay. I think it's just very crowded, and I keep like smushing stuff on top of each other to make it fit, and sometimes things just crack, like the containers crack. I think also that container might be leaking because the seal isn't great. So when I do things like put it on the diagonal, over time it'll just leak. Maybe I should put it up there so it doesn't leak. Anyway, oatmeal. Delicious. So, this is furikake, but it's not any furikake. It is furikake that Aaron got from me from Tokyo like 3 years ago. It is sweet furikake. We shall try it on the oats. If I can not make a fucking mess out of it. It's basically like sprinkles, I guess. That's pretty special. plan to use up the tamarind. I rescued that from the test kitchen when it was already like half a year old expired. But now it's a full year old no. When did it expire? It expired November 15th, 2020. So it is very expired. Aaron and I lived without AC for about 4 or 5 years. You can do it, but you're just miserable all the time. You get used to it. Mom lived without an AC. So people do it. Miriam, I know why you can't get into oatmeal. 9 out of 10 people who don't like a certain food item is because of the texture. Oatmeal itself is very bland, slightly milky and sweet and carbolicious in taste. But it's the texture you can't get into. For example, do you like granola? Do you like oats in granola form? These oats were cooked in homemade peanut milk. So, we have peanut oats. Aaron, for example, doesn't like the way I cook oatmeal because it's a little too mucusy for him. He likes it when it's like, you can flip the spoon upside down and it doesn't fall out. But Aaron also loves farina, cream of wheat. So it's very much a texture thing. Peanut milk tastes kind of like peanuts. Lightly sweet, a little bit earthy, has a little bit of astringency to it. If you use peanuts with the skin, because the skin has a little bit of like a tannic taste to them, kind of like the wine aftertaste that makes your mouth feel dry. Not that overwhelming though. Or if you use blanched peanuts, it's a little bit milkier and just straight up sweeter. Or you can use roasted peanuts, then you get more of a nutty vibe. Some people actually just blend a lot of water into like a tablespoon of peanut butter and they make peanut milk. That's also a possibility. Hello, Serbia. Serbia's Eurovision entry this year was very interesting, wasn't it? Did you like it? Did Serbia like it? Goodbye, Crystal. I have no idea what cocoa wheats are. I've never been exposed to that. Now I have to Google it. Cocoa wheats. Brand of instant chocolate flavored breakfast cereal. Currently owned by Post Holdings. It competes with chocolate flavored malto meal and chocolate flavored farina. Oh, it's a farina cereal flavored. Okay, so chocolate farina. Interesting. Interesting. I have a feeling I would like West African cuisine if for nothing else other than their use of peanuts in a lot of dishes. Are there any hot topics we should be discussing today? Otherwise, I'm going to keep the stream perfectly short. I think the addition of rye flour really fucks with doughs because it's got a lot more bran in it and fat. It's just not as like gluten ready formation in result, which is why this dough feels a lot less stable. But we shall simply have to fry it and see what it turns into. Domoda. No, I've not even heard of that. I gotta Google it after I wash my hands right now. Well, we haven't done a diabetic budget eats, but we have done a low carb budget eats. What do you think of that one? I don't know much about what a diabetic diet looks like. Aaron doesn't really help me cook because I feel like when I'm cooking for work, then like I can't have him help because I'm developing a recipe. And then when I'm cooking for myself, I'm usually cooking for fun, so I don't need his help. But he does cook on his own. He's a very good cook. Have you had anyone recognize you while you were out and about? Yes, I have. For a very long time, like a year or so, it used to be just Asian women who recognized me and approached me. But in the last few months, and I'm still wearing masks, like a white dude recognized me, and then a black lady recognized me, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I'm not sure how they recognized me with my mask on, but I guess they did. I mean, I think the black lady recognized me in Stop and Shop, and she heard my voice, because I was talking with Erin in the ice cream aisle, and she was like, are you June? And I was like, yeah, and I was very surprised, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that my face is very covered. But I have been recognized. Do I find it weird? Yes and no. Like, I don't get recognized a whole lot, so, you know, I'm not, like, burnt out from the interactions of saying hi to strangers. And I think if they were bold enough to say hi to me, then that's, you know, like, what is it to me to say hi back? That's very true. Maybe she did recognize Aaron, too. Do you cut your hair at home because you think salons are a scam? What would make you go to a salon? Okay. Rubina, I don't think I used bread or rice in that episode. Let me do a quick search in my spreadsheet. And I'll tell you all the ingredients that I used. For the low carb episode, I used burek cheese, walnuts, kale, zucchini, bell peppers, shishito peppers, garlic, meat bones, cauliflower, parsley, chicken hearts, pig spleen, eggs, coconut milk, and dried soybeans. Those are all the ingredients that I use in the low carb. Can you bring back the June Try Something She's Never Had Before series, either here or on Delish? I think whatever I made for Delish is now property of hers and I can't really do it myself. I can probably like reframe it in some way. So back to the salons. Are they a scam? Some of them can be. Like, the reason why I never paid for another haircut after going to college was because the day before I went to high school, my mom was like, you're going to a new school, let's finally pay someone to cut your hair proper. And we paid, at the time, I guess this was in like 2003, we paid 20 bucks at a Chinese salon in Flushing somewhere, and like the haircut was not that good. And then we like tipped them too, and then we came home, and both me and my mom were like visibly disappointed in the expense and the experience, and we were just like, this wasn't anything better than what we could have done at home. So when I went off to college, I had first a friend cut my hair, and like I didn't like what she did to it, so then I started cutting my own hair, and then I went really short, like boy short for the first time, and then my mom freaked out. And then after that, I just started experimenting with cutting my hair as a sort of like boredom coping mechanism or depression coping mechanism, or just like creative fun in a lot of ways. I did give myself some really awful mistakes. I did buzz my head a couple of times, and I guess I've been cutting my own hair for like 10 years now. And I've cut Aaron's hair too for the last 5 or 6. So, and I just recently cut Grandma's hair. So like, I'm not a professional by any means. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I feel like with time and repetition comes a sort of blind confidence where you're just like, no matter how much I fuck it up, it's fine. And I think that's part of what mastery is too. Hello, Northwest Territories, Canada. I have no idea what's included in the Northwest Territories, but hello, welcome. I see. No coconut milk for diabetic diets. And also, do all diabetics follow a pretty similar diet, or is it totally dependent on your specific type of diabetes and your specific condition? I've had some critics on the low FODMAP that was like, this is an actual low FODMAP. And I was like, well, you know, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I definitely didn't go to school for this.
You're presenting it as such, though.
No. I just defined what low FODMAP stand for, and I gave some examples of what foods can't be on the low FODMAP, but it turns out it's like obviously much more nuanced than what I was presenting. And I was like, yo, this is already like an hour and a half long episode. You want me to go into the entire science of what low FODMAP actually is? Like, that episode will never see the light of day because I will be developing it for half a year trying to learn all the knowledge. Hi, Turkey. Best time to cut your hair is at the new moon. You know, I have no idea when the new moon is. I think the best time to cut my hair is when I'm like, fuck it, let's cut my hair. Right, I used canned coconut milk, which did not have added sugars. So I don't know if that matters. But we have had a few requests for a diabetic episode, that's for sure. Back to the almonds. All right. Any more questions, kids? Otherwise, we will bid farewell to this weekend, and I will move on to my boring life of showering and Netflixing. Deborah says, I wish I had the confidence to cut my own. You won't get the confidence until you fuck up. Confidence isn't just like, zap, you got confidence. Confidence is knowing that you're gonna make mistakes and that you know how to bounce back and that you can bounce back. So. You gotta be willing to let go of the fear of failing. I'm not watching any shows, but I do want to watch Barry. And, oh, somebody recommended a show that I already forgot about. And it was about vampires on Netflix, but I forgot the title already. Short-term memory loss. Web of make-believes. Web of make-believes. Death, lies, and the internet. Wow, okay. This sounds very intense. I'm not sure. Conspiracy, fraud, violence, murder. What starts out virtual can get real all too quickly, and when the web is worldwide, so are the consequences. Wow. If you bought dark soy sauce, you use it for color, less for flavor. It's not as salty. What you can do is use it and supplement with salted MSG. It has good flavor and good color, but probably not the very fresh, salty punch that you're expecting out of your soy sauce. It's a little more fermented tasting, a little bit more aged. What We Do in the Shadows is great. Aaron and I watched it. We really liked it. Watch Alone on the History Channel and you will no longer worry about your haircut. I'm not sure I'm gonna watch that one with that introduction. I have sweet potatoes, corn, chicken legs. What do I make with them? Roast the chicken legs, mash the sweet potatoes, and stir fry the corn in butter and thyme. If you do want to decide to donate to Planned Parenthood or abortion funds, I will just say right now, Hearst offers its employees one-to-one matching. So if you don't care about getting your tax write-off and you want to double what you intend on donating, a lot of people at Delish are taking Venmo from strangers like you and donating that money, so that if you give 50, hers will match the 50, so you end up doubling your impact and donating 100 in total to Planned Parenthood. If you want to do that, I know that Zach is currently taking donations to have it matched by hers. You can also Venmo me if you want. Just an option. Obviously, donate, don't donate, get it matched, don't get it matched. Either way, our world is still fucked. We have a lot of really dumb people in charge. And not dumb in the sense that they're not intelligent. I think they are very intelligent, but they're just really, I wouldn't even call them evil. I think they're very short-sighted. So it's very unfortunate. But do what you do. I have not watched The Boys. Some people have told me to watch it. I don't think it's my kind of show. Anything with like a lot of violence for the sake of violence and spectacle is not really my show. I learned to cut my hair in college, is the club that I'm in, not quite quarantine. Hi, Manchester. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of organizations to donate to. I'm personally just burnt out, so I don't really give a shit. I think the revolution will find a way on its own time. It's coming. I just don't know when. And like the rest of the universe, I am but a small speck in it, so the revolution will happen when the revolution happens. When did money become so damn important, Rabina asks. I mean, we've done a hell of a job selling it as the ultimate signifier of happiness, love, success, and the meaning of life. Like, that's what we marketed money as throughout the centuries that we've had money. And now it is seen as this ultimate representation of what it means to have a good life. That's why money became so important. It's taken a lot of time. So Aaron, I've decided I really don't want to go out today to buy groceries for work. I just mentally can't work right now. I feel like I would hate myself to go out right now, so I'm not gonna do it. Okay. All right. Ready? Can you come say hi? Come say hi. Can you come say hi to Dad? I'll give you treats. I promise. I promise I'll give you treats. Yes. Just say hi and bye to the peoples and I'll give you treats. We start the live with Freddy's beans and we end the live with Freddy's beans. What a good boy. What a good boy. Do you want to say anything to the people for their week? Look at that. Look at that luxurious tail. Do you know how happy you make everyone, Freddy? You are doing God's work. How tiring you must be carrying everyone's happiness on your little tum-tum. All right. I promise you treat. I give you treat. Ooh, ow. Okay. Do you promise not to hiss at me for the rest of the week? How about just tomorrow? Can you not hiss at me tomorrow? Okay. All right. Here. Yes. Very good, Freddy. That's it for now, buddy. Can you say a word of wisdom to the good people? Yes? Reach for the stars, and you will fail no matter what anyway, so don't even try? Okay. Very wise, Fred. Yes. Okay, just stay here where the treats are. Yes. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for that word of wisdom. Bye, y'all. Have a great week ahead. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Eat your vitamins. Blah, blah, blah.